realizing to refuse. So now Glavitt's 47 is royal blue, but his pitching pedigree remains royalty. Tonight, Sean Chacon, who has a master's degree at altitude, will look to outduel the Mets ace. Shaq has a new focus, and the Rockies need him tonight more than ever. Tonight, just off the Platte River in lower downtown Denver at Coors Field, the Rockies ready to go. Game 2 of 3 against the New York Mets. Last night, the Mets prevailed 9-6, and both clubs have identical 17 and 21 records entering Tuesday night, May the 13th, 2003. And good evening, everyone. Along with George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Nice pitching matchup tonight. Sean Chacon, the pitcher of the month in the National League in April, against Tom Glavine. You know how good he has been throughout his career, and he's been very good in this ballpark.
Yeah, he has. He's 3-1 overall record for Glavine, 2 complete game shutouts. That's how good Glavine has been. I think it'll depend on the umpire, to be quite honest. He needs a liberal strike zone. He needs the off of the plate to the right-hander. Chacon has been very good in his starts at Coors Field. 3-0 in this ballpark with a 130 earned run average at Coors Field. 12 games he's won in this ballpark since he's been in a Rockies uniform, and I think he understands altitude better than anyone that's worn a Rockies uniform.
And he also understands the Rockies need a win. They need to get on a roll. They have lost 10 of 12, and 19 of their next 26 will be at Coors Field, where they have played, for the most part, exceptional baseball. The Rockies and Mets, come on back to Coors with us.
Like a...
Yep, few breaks. And now they're only $29.95. Meineke Car Care Center. Right service, right price.
It goes...
We do it all. Meineke Car Care Center. Right service, right price.
She's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to pump and take to dinner. But she always goes to place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a winner. She's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady. She's a lady. Talking about the little lady.
Fox 31 News, Colorado's most watched 9 o'clock newscast. The resources to cover big stories, breaking stories, the technology to bring you an accurate forecast, and a troubleshooter fighting for you. The news you need at a time that's right. Fox 31 News, Colorado's most watched 9 o'clock newscast. He's no Joe Millionaire. But tonight, he'll get you laughing with Fox at Night. Homer Simpson, tonight at 10 on Fox 31.
Come on, man. Take that step. Take that step. You want to compete again? Huh? You still a downhill champ? Well, show me. Show me what you made of. Helton always crushes their pitching.
Little help here. Little help.
The Rocky Mountain Sports Report.
Mile-high sports coverage is second to none.
Still the only nightly newscast dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
Fox style with a whole lot of attitude.
Coming to you live among some of the Rockies' biggest sports fans. It's game on.
I'm excited about it.
And you're better for it. Your teams, your town, your show.
30 minutes of news you can use.
The Rocky Mountain Sports Report. After the game.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Tonight's game on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Pennzoil, protection for the way you drive. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, cold down easy. By Rico Image and Document Communication, how well do you share? And by Pizza Hut, try an extra large pizza for just $9.99. situated at 20th and Blake, the home of the Colorado Rockies. Some Mets fans obviously in attendance. The Rockies game 2 of this 3-game set with New York. They'll see the Mets in August at Shea Stadium. In fact, they'll play 4 games against the Mets back in Queens in August. And here's the Pizza Hut starting lineup tonight for the New York Mets. Robbie Alomar will be at second base. He homered last night. Roger Cedeno moves up to the 2-hole. Mike Piazza had 3 hits last night, all singles. Floyd was a big hero last night for the Mets. 3 for 5, a home run and a couple of doubles. Timo Perez, Ty Wigginton, then Tony Clark, Joe McEwing again at shortstop, and Gretzky, as some of his teammates used to call him because of his former hockey abilities. Tom Glavine on the hill. Peyton Wilson and Walker in the outfield. Chris Steins at third base. Jose Hernandez at shortstop. Brent Butler gets the start for Ronnie Belliard at second base. And Helton's at first. Charles Johnson behind the plate. Sean Chacon, George, trying to snap a mini 2-game slide. And over the last 11 innings, he's given up 11 earned runs.
Yeah, throw that out the window. He's comfortable in this ballpark. 3-0 this year and a very good 130 earned run average. And has had a lot of success against the New York Mets. He's 1-1 with a 129 earned run average. Matter of fact, his first major league win came on May 10th, 2001 versus these New York Mets. And Chacon with confidence hopefully can rely on the fastball, curve slider, likes it here at altitude, and as we mentioned, loves it at home.
So Robbie Alomar will step in. Home run last night. Said, you know, I got it on the barrel, but I didn't really get extended. He was surprised the ball went out.
Yeah, he shouldn't be surprised. Coors Field home run. And that's the way I call those. Long, high fly balls in this ballpark have a tendency to carry more to right field than they do left field.
And at the knees for a strike, 1-1. Alomar was not the leadoff hitter on day 1 this year for the Mets against the Chicago Cubs. In fact, he didn't hit in the leadoff spot for the first time this year until April 17th, but he's been working the count, and according to Art Howe, doing a very nice job in that role. And late foul, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, we talked last night about his average last year, 266, well below his career average of 305. And I asked Robbie Alomar this afternoon, I said, have you completely adjusted to moving from the American League to the National League? And he said, no. He said the pitching, first of all, is deeper in the National League than it is in the American League, and I'm still seeing some guys I've never seen before.
Well, it's always an adjustment when you do see new people, but after the first couple of at-bats, as experienced as he is at reading pitches and being able to make those adjustments, I would think he would be the one guy in that lineup because he is more of a contact hitter that he can handle the bat so well.
Yeah, well, he gets a good at-bat there, rewarded with a single to center field. So Alomar is aboard. Let's check the keys to the series as compiled by George Frazier.
Well, I think the first at bat for both of these ball clubs, the Rockies obviously need to shut them down. They've had great success here at home. You need to enjoy that farther as the Rockies take an 11-5 record into tonight's ball game at home and riding the shoulders of the young staff, you betcha, because yesterday it was Jason Young, tonight Sean Chacon.
Cedeno 1 for 4 and a walk last night, hitting down in the lineup. Doing a good job of late. He's hit 9 of his last 12, and over those dozen ball games, hitting at 361. Tough to turn 2 with Cedeno. And the Mets get it at first, or excuse me, the Rockies get the Mets Cedeno at first. That's a nice little turn by Butler and Hernandez up the middle.
For guys that don't play together every day, and it is important in your double play combination that you have the familiarity of what you see up the middle. But look at the quick flip here. Right where you want it, right on the letters in the sweep tag with the foot, and then the strong throw of Hernandez completes this double play in time to get Cedeno. And I don't think people realize either the importance of a first baseman, what Todd Helton does at first base and the timing of the stretch and the length of the stretch.
Well, you can't stretch early if you're a first baseman. You have to see where the ball is being delivered before you get out and reach for it. And Helton is a master at that.
I think the biggest difference for Chacon between April and May, 49 ground ball outs in April. He went 4-0 with a 1.04. Then in May, only 16 ground ball outs. 0-2 with a 9-point earned run average.
And he's fallen behind Piazza 3-0. Piazza 3 sharp singles in the ball game last night. Ball 4 to Mike Piazza.
And that's not all bad with 2 outs. I think the type of success Piazza has had in this ballpark. On a 3-ball count, you go right at him with a hard sinker, and if he bites, he hits the ball on the ground. And again, giving up sharp singles 3 to Piazza is better than what he can do in this ballpark on a typical basis. One guy that they kept waiting for someone to get hot, it was Cliff Floyd. 6 home runs now, 21 RBIs, and yesterday, 2 doubles and a bomb in the bullpen. I mean, he swung the bat well yesterday. Chacon has handled the 4-hole brilliantly in the year 2003. They're combined 2 for 18 right now against Chacon. So making a pitch in a crucial situation early in a ball game is huge.
Well, Chacon has fallen behind each hitter he has faced. He's been at least ball 1 on the first 4 hitters, and now it's 2-0 on Cliff Floyd.
And that relies, if you look at it, the pitch count total 16 in the ball game for Chacon. 10 of those have been balls. That's not his MO to have success in this ballpark.
And that's ball 3 according to Mike Winters. He's working home plate tonight. Bruce Fromming at first, Doug Eddings at second, Ron Kolpa at third. It's a good look at Mike Winters. Chacon with 2 outs has now walked Piazza and Floyd, and will have to deal with Timo Perez.
When young pitchers start to struggle, a lot of times what catchers will do, because if they have a lot of movement in their fastball, they'll try to cut their movement down, and instead of sitting up, and you look where Johnson sits up, one knee right on one corner, one on the other. When he makes that move, it'll be a gradual move. It may not, see, he's hardly moving to the outside corner, because what you try to do as a young pitcher then, and Chacon misfiring badly right now, but what you do as a young pitcher, you try to aim for the outside corner. So if you aim here and you get any kind of movement, obviously it's out of the strike zone. What right now what Johnson's trying to do is say, hey, let's get it in the middle of the plate. Early in the ball game, you've walked 2 straight, let's find the strike zone. And as a veteran catcher, it works to the advantage when you've got a good veteran behind the plate. It can go out and settle down a youngster during the course of a ball game. Get him refocused back into the game.
(2-0) right there, and it's 2-1 on Timo Perez. Piazza at second, Cliff Floyd at first, 2 gone at the top of the first. And that's inside, 3-1.
Not a time to be perfect, but a time to make a quality pitch. There's not many 5-hole hitters in the league that are hitting 236 that doesn't have a home run and 7 RBIs. Perez with good speed, the guy that'll slap the baseball, try to run with it. A bigger Juan Pierre. Is that a nice way to put it?
One way of putting it.
A guy that is stronger. He will hit the ball into the gaps, but he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. But he has the same type of speed that a Juan Pierre possesses. Here's the 3-2, and now Chacon has walked them full.
Ty Wigington, who came up with the bases loaded last night and had the biggest hit of the ball game in all probability. It was a 3-run triple off of Justin Spire that broke it open for the Mets.
And Apodaca's out to visit with Chacon, and he's sitting at home, and you say, well, why wouldn't he out after the second ball? Well, as a pitching coach, let him try to find himself, and let him try to work it to figure out where he's off. See, Sean's missed with fastball, he's missed curveball, he's missed with the slider, and he's been inconsistent with his changeup. So there hadn't been that one pitch he's comfortable with throwing in the strike zone right now, and I think that's where it makes it difficult. You go out to visit with him and say, hey, let's just settle in here, get back in your windup, and go right at this guy. Wigington hit a big ball last night, a triple off of Spire.
And he hits this ball a long way. Preston Wilson still running, still going. He can't get it. All 3 runners will score, and guess what? Wigington's going to have another triple. A near duplicate of last night, except the ball was more toward left center. And a 3-0 start for New York.
Yeah, Matt Galante told me you're going to be more aggressive on the base pass. I think that's why Wigington took off for third base. High fastball, belt high, middle half hand, trying to get ahead after the 3 walks. And lucky this ball stayed in the ballpark. Wilson, a gallant effort in center field. Long chase, played it off the wall well.
And now Tony Clark. So a horrendous beginning for the Colorado Rockies. And Sean Chacon, who'd gone so well in April, continues to struggle in May. And it's a control issue right now. I mean, Chacon had very good control for the most part in his initial 7 starts this year. In fact, at 45 2/3 innings, he'd walked only 15.
Up in the strike zone again. And that's not typical of Sean Chacon. I mean, his fastball's riding up into the strike zone. Velocity good. The last pitch at 94 miles an hour. That's frustrating for Clint Hurdle. And to have a ball game when your ball club struggles, the last thing you need to do is have a situation where you walk 3 and then throw a triple off the wall.
2 hits in the inning, one that really counted, a triple after 3 walks. New York leading 3-7.
There's something happening at Checker Auto Parts, and it's all about value. New items at great prices, high-quality parts with national brand names, better selection covering more makes and model years, and the professionalism of ASE certified parts pros. So do the job right with the right advice from Checker, the power of the star. Get a 16-pack of Pennzoil for only 89 cents a quart after rebate with coupon, and a Delta full-size diamond plate truck box for just $159.
Rejuvenate your 75,000-mile engine with Pennzoil high-mileage vehicle. The motor oil specially formulated for the needs of your older, wiser vehicle. Pennzoil, word driving protection.
Get more this summer with Pennzoil's protection package and get $15 back on your next service at Rocky Mountain Quick Lube.
Hey, Rick, is that you?
Jim? Hey!
Looks like you're on your way to work.
Yeah, Subway.
The one right up at the next stop?
That's the one.
Hey, anything new at Subway?
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Introducing Subway's new Turkey Bacon Guacamole Sub. Succulent turkey, hearty bacon, and creamy guacamole, all piled high on our fresh baked bread.
We're getting good at this.
The Rockies have dug themselves an early hole, down 3-0 to one of the best pitchers in baseball before he has thrown a pitch, Tom Glavine. And let's take a look at Clint Hurdle's lineup tonight, brought to you by Pizza Hut. Chris Steins will lead off, play third base, followed by Jay Payton, Todd Helton, Preston Wilson, as hot as anybody in baseball, Larry Walker in right field, Jose Hernandez at short, Charles Johnson behind the plate, Brent Butler will hit in the 8-hole and play second, and then Chacon will bat ninth. Tom Glavine, 43rd on the all-time wins list, George, with 246.
Yeah, some people wonder how. Well, he's a young Tommy John. That's the All-State Scouting Report. Fastball, curve, changeup. Fastball will vary from 80 to 88 miles an hour. Typically when he'll juice it, he'll bring it inside on you. He'll bring it in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. He likes to live on the outside part of the plate. And that's where, if you watch Piazza tonight and watch him catch behind the plate tonight, Glavine likes a very small and he likes a quiet target. He doesn't want a big screen TV back there. He doesn't want some guy spread out. He wants to reduce that strike zone. Look how tight Piazza is behind the plate. And how much he works.
And a nice job by Steins. He kept the weight back and got the barrel to the outside part of the plate and drove it up the middle. Let's check the gloves for the New York Mets. In the outfield, Cliff Floyd again in left, Timo Perez in center, Roger Cedeno in right. Wigginton's at third, McEwing once again at shortstop, Robbie Alomar and Tony Clark on the right side, Piazza behind the dish. 7 errors, the most in baseball. Guys that work behind the plate on a regular basis.
Glavine with a good move to first base. He will hold runners on. So that gives the advantage to Piazza as far as the running game's concerned, because clubs have ran on Mike Piazza. Part of those errors have come from throws to second base and to third base. Last night, the Rockies could never take advantage of it. They were up 3-1 and then 3-2 and then down in the ball game. Limited what Clint Hurdle could do with the running game.
Can't play at second, and it's a bad throw by Clark, and that will allow Steins to go to third. Well, the Mets defense has been very poor the last year and a half, and that's their second error of the series.
Now watch the play here. Now you got to look for your shortstop and get it in the air to him on the infield side, but that's not even close. Threw a nice cutter right there, heads up on Steins. He took off with it. The other side of that thing, Drew, is when he fielded the baseball, touch first. Get back to the infield side of it. Let your guy give you the target for it, because now you're trying to throw through the runner to second base.
Based on the swing, do you think there was a missed sign somewhere?
Yeah, it looked like almost a hit and run, because that ball's way up out of the strike zone. Way up out of the strike zone.
Payton did all he could to just chop it to the right side. Steins was not moving on the pitch. Hello. Wigginton in a defensive mode comes up with it.
Yeah, hit right at you at the hot corner. There's not much else you can do. Either put it in the glove or take it off the lips, and that's the two choices Wigginton had at it. That ball is smoked by help. Look at it again, right at him. There's nowhere to hide.
Tom Glavine growing up saw a few of those as an outstanding goalie in the Boston area.
I think he obviously made the right decision.
Though his first love, he is proclaimed on several occasions, was hockey. That misses. Now that's a pitch, George. You talked about the strike zone being so important to Tom Glavine and what Mike Winters will give him. That's a pitch he gets more often than not.
Well, here's the strike zone on the corner for Chacon and everybody else, and then here's the strike zone on the corner for Tom Glavine. And if he lives out there on it, and not only does he get east and west, he gets north and south. Winters working the plate tonight. Typically, that's going to be called a strike for Glavine and a guy like Matty. People say, well, he's got 250, close to 250 wins in the league. He's earned that.
Rope foul on the right side. 2-1. As good as Preston Wilson's been going, I'm surprised Glavine threw a pitch that got that much of the plate.
Now, if he follows patterns, that's just what I thought. Then he'll come in on the hands. He likes to take it away from him. A right-handed hitter, particularly the power guys, Drew, and then he'll bust it in on their hands. Well, maybe that's the reason he feels comfortable with Wilson. He's 8 for 34 in his career against him without a home run, a .235 average.
But I don't know if he's seen this Preston Wilson. 3-1, and he sneaks it by him, 3-2. I say sneaks because at 84 miles an hour, that is well below average for a big league fastball. But this guy's an artist on the hill. 2 Cy Youngs, 20-plus wins on 5 occasions. Wilson will walk, and Larry Walker will come to bat. First and third. The Rockies trailing New York 3-0 in the bottom of the first.
As Walker has struggled, let me tell you, it's just like Art Howe earlier today making the statement along with Don Baylor. Team still fear because they know he's right there at the corner from breaking out. 324 career average against Glavine, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs against Tom Glavine.
2 for 3 last night. Here's the thing about Glavine. You talked about him. He's going to work away, and then he'll come in. But Glavine rarely makes a mistake in. When he comes in, George, it's in. It's not ever left over the plate.
He's going to break your bat. He's not going to let you extend your arms. He's not going to let you open up, and if you do hit it, you're going to pull it. I mean, that's just the way he likes to work it if you start it early.
And a slow roller at Robbie Alomar. And Glavine works out of a mini jam. And it remains 3-0 as we go to the second.
The Rocky Mountain Sports Report, coming to you live among some of the Rockies' biggest sports fans.
True fanatics.
Your teams, your town, your show, after the game.
The best damn sports show, period. Sports television like you've never seen it before.
4 idiots sitting around talking sports. Great television.
Hang with the fellas. Cut loose with the stars.
What the hell does this have to do with sports?
Finally, a sports show that gets the picture. The best damn sports show, period, tonight on Fox Sports Net.
Malcolm's family has a lot to be thankful for, but this week...
Your mom is having a baby now!
You'll be thankful you're not them.
I want you to deliver the baby! You don't even like me!
You fill up my senses.
I'm coming on!
Like I'm
coming!
Don't miss the arrival of their newest bundle of joy.
This baby is gonna kill us.
All new episodes of Malcolm this week on Fox.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
3-0 Mets as we go to the top of the second inning. Sean Chacon will pitch to Joe McEwing, the 8-hole hitter in New York's lineup. And the slider is low. Chacon in that first inning consistently behind and never recovered. He walked 3, and then Wigginton tripled in 3, as he did last night.
Ewing made a nice play to end the game last night on a ball hit up the middle, ranged far to his left, picked it.
We're talking about him playing everywhere the last couple of years, 7 positions. The only place he has not started the last couple of years, catcher and pitcher. There's a good hook. And I asked him before the game, I said, have you ever caught? And you were right, George. He said he had to put the gear on at some point. Caught 6 innings 2 spring trainings ago, and the Mets gave 4 innings this spring training. So he's the emergency catcher as well.
Not every ball club likes to have one so they can use him. If they, like last night, what happens in the 9th inning with Piazza already out of the ball game, Vance Wilson behind the plate, catches a foul tip, you got to have a guy finish the ball game off. Most National League clubs only carry 2 catchers. Florida, one of the few that carried 3.
In the air to Walker, and that's the first out. Let's check in with Keith Blyer, a preview of what's cooking later on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report. Keith?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. Yeah, a 4th row behind the visitors' dugout. Very good seats, although when a left-handed hitter comes up like McEwing right now, or Glavin actually, I want to turn and run because those foul balls are scary. But coming up after the game, Patrick Waugh, we found him in Canada and we asked him this question: will you play for the Avalanche next season? We will show you his answer. That's not a foul ball.
Well, that's a fair ball. And Glavin has a double.
The starting pitcher with a double for the Mets. Breaking the sportscaster's train of thought completely. But we will also have, after the game, a conversation with Don Baylor, who is in the visitors' dugout, but a former Rockies manager overcoming being diagnosed with cancer. That's coming up after the game as well. Back to you guys.
All right, Keith, we look forward to those conversations later on this evening. Sean Chacon will have to deal with Robbie Alomar with Glavin at second. Looked to be the straight change. Alomar took it. He singled his first time up. And there's the curveball.
He's such a good fastball hitter. Chacon tried to take the route of the off-speed pitch early. And his first at bat fell behind, came with a fastball, and got a base hit back up the middle. Now he's way ahead on an 0-2 count. See where he rides it here.
From the fastball, Alomar lined it down the left field line. Glavin will walk home. Back-to-back doubles, 4-0 Mets.
Pitch. What they want to do with this is they want to work it off the plate, so you want to run that sinker away from it. So what he's trying to do is run it here with a little bit of tail to that outside corner. The ball just flattens out. So that ball stays straight, and then you allow Alomar to use the bat. I mean, Alomar lays that bat right on his back shoulder. He just sweeps it through the strike zone. Allows the hitter, or excuse me, allows the pitcher to supply the velocity to power the baseball versus trying to muscle the baseball. If it's pitched outside, he goes with it, as he did there.
Cedeno bounced into a 4.63 his first time up, and he's ahead in the count 2-0.
By the way, fans, it's Dollar Hot Dog Night, May 23rd. Come enjoy the Rockies game and receive a voucher for a $1 hot dog, courtesy of the Colorado Rockies.
And this ball is roped right at Helton. So allowed out for the second out in the inning, and that'll bring Piazza to the plate.
Now with men on base, that's not good. By the way, that game on May 23rd, Hot Dog Night, it's the San Francisco Giants, 7:05 start. Gates will fly open at 5:05. Tickets available, Coors Field ticket office, the Dugout, King Supers, 1-800-388-ROCK, and just go online with the Colorado Rockies.com.
Mike Piazza, 1 of 6 in his career against Sean Chacon. And this ball is crushed. And on out of here. That's one of the places Piazza has big-time power. Going the other way, and it is 6-0. Piazza's starting to get in a groove. And that's not good news for everybody the Mets plays.
Well, the average has climbed well over 300. Now the long ball's starting to come with it. Fastball, they wanted out away from him. They put it right back into the center of the plate. You look at the leg drive and the swing and the extension by Piazza. That's his 14th career home run at Coors Field.
And now huge pressure on the Rockies offense. Down 6-0, and we're not out of the second inning yet. Mike Piazza tied with Greg Vaughn, interestingly enough. Vaughn now playing in Colorado Springs for the Rockies. Paid by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays for the most part. For Piazza, that's his right first home run at 47 at bats.
Yeah, he only has 5 on the year, 10 RBIs now. Remember, he's been injured. Missed a lot of ball games early. Now you see tonight, just watching and Chacon working this ball game, he has not been around the plate with anything, and Piazza's took advantage of it. He's thrown 2 curveballs for strikes in the game. He's thrown 1 changeup for a strike, and that's not typical Sean Chacon, particularly in this ballpark.
I don't think that stat, by the way, on Piazza's right. He had a home run against San Diego over the weekend. Not that it matters.
Who wrote? You looking at the Mets notes? It's got to be Jay Horowitz. We'll have to go get him. He never makes a mistake.
Jay does not. Jay's been there forever. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Floyd. On the ground to help. He'll take it himself. 3 in the first for the Mets. 3 more in the second. Glavine doubled. Robbie Alomar doubled for the first run, and then Piazza hit a 2-run shot into the Rockies bullpen.
Things in life are more important than others. Family, of course, is one of them. We all want our children to grow up healthy and get the best education possible. Our home plays another important part in our lives. It's most likely our biggest asset and our biggest debt.
There may come a time when funds are needed to secure a home or the future of your family. I'd want to know that the mortgage company I'm using is local and the very best in Colorado. Team Lending Concepts is that company. They go the extra mile to get the loan you need. I recommend Team Lending Concepts. They get the job done for you.
Okay, let's say this is your car and you get into an accident. Oh boy. If you take it to an Allstate recommended repair shop, they'll fix it, so you're pretty happy. You're like, woohoo, I'm pretty happy. Even better, Allstate guarantees the workmanship for as long as you own the car, which means if even the smallest thing goes wrong, you don't have to pay for it. So you're still happy. You're like, woohoo, I'm still happy. So there you go, the Allstate Lifetime Repair Guarantee.
Call now and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate.
His mom was trying to talk him into renting the more traditional look. He, of course, was leaning the other way. After all, it was his prom, and it was Melinda. So instead of a bow tie, it was a button cover, and a vest instead of a cummerbund. As for Mom, we can only say this. It's not what he's wearing that you should be worried about.
Tuxedo packages for as little as $50.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
The best damn sports show, period.
4 idiots sitting around talking sports. Great television.
Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
Well, the boys of summer return to Fox on Saturday with the season premiere of Fox Saturday Baseball. We've got 18 weeks of the best players, the best matchups, the greatest moments, all leading up to the 2003 World Series. MLB on Fox opening day on Saturday. And a base hit for Jose Hernandez to lead things off in the second.
And the dugout of the Rockies right now, you say we're down 6, but there's a lot of innings to play, and Art Howe stated it. And Don Baylor really put it perfect today. He said, hey, we figured if they scored 2 in the first inning, we still had a chance. And they were talking about when they were manager bench coach together here at Coors Field. He said, give up 2 in the first. He said, okay, that's no big deal. You could give up 5 in the first 2, and that wasn't a big deal. Not in this ballpark. Their comfort level, and most managers, when they're managing, will tell you that that comfort level is 5 runs, because now the Grand Slam doesn't even tie it. But at Coors Field, both guys said their comfort level, 7 runs. They're comfortable going to the 9th inning with a 7-run lead in this ballpark. Otherwise, they're not very comfortable. And you just got to peck away at it. You're down 6. Had a couple of opportunities early with Walker and a runner at third base, and you had those chances. Didn't happen, but now you just peck away and try to get as many as you can over the course of the ball game. And if you're Chacon, try to throw up some zeros, give that offense a chance.
Now you're trying to do it against one of the best in baseball, Glavine, and this year he has a 1.91 road ERA, which is 4th in the National League. His ERA overall at 3.61, and that is, just somewhat high by his standards, only because his opening day performance against Chicago was not a particularly good one.
Yeah, but remember the conditions he was pitching in, and I know Chicago had those same conditions, but it was cold, about 36 degrees. Rain off and on during the ball game. They had sleet prior to the ball game. I mean, that's not your typical baseball weather, but that's the blowout, wasn't it? 16-2 or something on opening day.
He went just 3 2/3, gave up 5 runs. He fans Charles Johnson for the first out.
Pretty typical with Tom Glavine. He's a guy that will change speeds. He'll show you pitches from 73 to 88 miles an hour. And that's a changeup. Bottom, he'll cut it, he'll sink it away from you, but that pitch at 79 after showing an 86-mile-an-hour fastball. He is your he's your Tommy John, your Jim Cott, of the 90s and 2000 era. He's the guy that just can't overpower you, but he just gets you out. That comfortable 0 for 4 you've mentioned before, Drew. He'll give you the most comfortable 0 for 4. It's like sitting in a lounge chair and the game's over and you go, how did I go 0 for 4 against this guy? Well, it's because he knows how to pitch.
Timo Perez in center, and Butler's retired.
Yeah, so much has been written about the guys that get 500 home runs. Is that your ticket to Cooperstown? And it's kind of a split vote when you talk to people and writers. And Tracy Ringlesby, a guy that you see on our pregame shows, and it's not a given anymore, just like the guys to win 300 games. I mean, I think that that's could be a thing of the past. You look at it, everybody talks about Randy Johnson, but at age 40, he's starting to break down with 225 or 226 career wins. Glavine is probably the next outside of, you know, you're looking at Maddox and possibly, well, Roger will get his, but now I'm talking about Roger Clemens. He's at 298 right now. But Maddox, and then you look at Glavine, and then outside of that, there's not many on the way, and I think it's going to be difficult, more difficult. I mean, it's just like they said Pedro Martinez in Boston. They talk about him having an opportunity. He has to go 10 seasons at 15 wins a season to even get close. And you start thinking about that at age, whatever he is, 29, 30, that's not an easy thing. Clemens at 298, Maddox at 276, Glavine 246, Johnson, and then David Cohn, who pitches for these Mets at age 40. He's on the disabled list right now. I just think that you're not going to have many 300-game winners.
Somebody somewhere, and I'm talking about a manager, is going to buck this trend. It might not happen for another 10 years, but somewhere along the line, somebody's going to say, you know what? There's too much emphasis put on the bullpen. I have 4 quality arms. I'm going to shorten the rotation, and I'm going to lengthen guys out inside baseball games. In other words, get away from this strict pitch count of once you're at 100 or 105, you're automatically done. Somebody will buck the trend at some point.
Well,
I really believe that.
There's a team right now that is staring them right in the face, the Oakland A's. They have 4 of the best young starters in baseball.
On the inside corner, and Sean Chacon is punched out. Rockies had a hit. They leave Hernandez at first. 6-0 New York.
Okay, remember, we're just checking out prices.
So no matter what they say, we're not buying yet.
Right. What's running through your veins?
Ice water.
Right. Can't base it.
So with Circuit City's Price Match Plus, you're covered on price.
Well, take it.
Go ahead. Take it. If you find a lower price within 30 days of purchase, we'll give you back 110% of the price difference. Circuit City. We're with you.
Nice game face.
You didn't even see it coming.
Pop quiz time. What happens to an engine with too much friction? I'll tell you. It loses power. So you want to reduce friction, right, Tinkerbell? This is new Quaker State. Engineered to deliver a 10% lower coefficient of friction. In other words, it's even better than before, because too much friction. Touchy little gearhead, ain't he? Nice haircut. New Quaker State, the power to reduce friction.
Quaker State motor oils are available at your neighborhood Jiffy Lube location.
Five, four, three, two, one. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
Tonight's game on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Harley-Davidson. For 24 years, a way of life. By Checker Auto Parts, the power of the star. By Pennzoil, protection for the way you drive. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. By Team Lending Concepts, your mortgage partner for life. By Budweiser, who salutes America's designated drivers. By Mountain States RV, serving Colorado since 1983 at I-225 and Colfax in Aurora. By Steel. See the full line of Steel outdoor power equipment at your independent servicing Steel retailer. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by your Meineke Car Care Center, right service, right price. And that pitch, Timo Perez pulled into right field for a base hit, and that is the 6th hit by the New Yorkers.
Well, this club had struggled to swing the bat. They were near the bottom with runners in scoring position. They were near the bottom in batting average, home runs, RBIs. But yet they were a quality big league team, a team that they had the general public looked at that could win the National League East and possibly disrupt and even get there to face the crosstown rivals to a World Series with the addition of Glavine and Weathers, that they thought that they could get there, in a healthy Jeremy Burnett's. That you take all that out of there, and you just hope that this club wouldn't break out here. If it breaks out here, then you're in trouble. Only because this is a ball club that will hit and will score runs. And they had struggled. You just hope struggles would carry on to San Francisco. You know, when they put Weathers in on the right side of the bullpen, then they turned around and added Stanton on the left side of the bullpen with all the experience he had, appearing in every year in postseason since 1991, with the exception of '94. That was the only year he did not. That's impressive. And they had Benitez and Glavine and Al Leiter. I mean, they had all the components to win a lot of ball games, but everybody's dropping like flies. I mean, Jay Bell yesterday strained his growing on a swing at the plate.
That's what Robbie Alomar was saying before the game. He said, we don't have a bench right now. Our bench is basically in the everyday lineup.
Yeah, I asked Art Howe. I said, well, you get any pitchers that can hit? And he said, yeah, you got the guy in the lineup tonight that can hit. Glavine, I hope he goes 9. I won't have to pinch hit. I won't have to use anybody off my bench.
When you think about their lineup tonight, Tony Clark at first base. That was supposed to be Mo Vaughn. I mean, Tony Clark picked up off the waiver wire from Boston. Joe McEwing playing shortstop. He's supposed to be their super sub. 2-2 as that fastball misses.
If you look at just the numbers of what Mo Vaughn and Jeremy Burnett's brought on the average for the past 4 years, they've averaged over 30 home runs and they've averaged over 100 RBIs. And that fear factor's out of the lineup and their production's out of the lineup.
Yeah, take your pick. With that, Perez or Cedeno wouldn't be in the lineup. This ball is down the left field line. Long run for Payton, and they get there. Nice running catch by Jay Payton.
Yeah, Payton shortened up in left field. The last night, the ball by Floyd was tagged and smoked over his head, and then Glavine, the pitcher, Payton had shortened up on him. Well, on Wigington, he gets a hanging hook from Sean Chacon, and this is a nice running catch by Payton over into the corner of the ballpark, and then gets his balance, gets the ball back in again, only because Perez, he'd moved all the way to second. Otherwise, you see in this ballpark, as Rockies base runners do a lot, they tag up and head to second to try to get in scoring position. In the last at bat for Clark Drew, they rose it up in the strike zone. Take it and start out about belt high. You start here, next pitch you go here, and the last you go up on top. You need to bite on the pitches.
Well, if it's possible, Sean Chacon has to look at this as a 0-0 game, and as you suggested, George, put up zeros the next 3 or 4 innings and give his club a chance to peck away. This should be 2. Nice pickup by Hernandez to start a 6-4-3. Well done by Jose on a ball struck very hard by Tony Clark. 6-0, New York.
We found Avalanche goaltender Patrick Waugh, and he talked to us about his future. Tonight on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report, Waugh says this. We'll translate, and with 5 big reasons will convince the NHL legend to stay in Colorado's crease. Also, part 2 of our conversation with the man in control of the Broncos' future, Plummer talks about the Elway issue. It's all in the Rocky Mountain Sports Report tonight after the game.
In the desire to move ideas forward, printing in black and white has served us well. But color is more effective. The fly in the ointment. Cost. Imagine a multi-function printer that gives you low-cost color without raising the cost of your black and white. The new Officio 1232 from Ricoh. Ricoh.
your 2003 Colorado Rockies. One team doing whatever it takes. For tickets, call 1-800-388-ROCK.
Well, the Rockies are scuffling a little bit. They've lost 10 of their last 12 games. They're at home at Coors Field, where for the most part they've been very good this year, but they have spotted the Mets. A 6-run lead. Drew Goodman, George Frazier. Happy you're along tonight on Fox Sports Net. The Rockies will have the top of the lineup in the bottom of the third. Chris Steins to be followed by Jay Payton and Todd Helton against Tom Glavine, who got the opening day assignment, not Al Leiter, in his first season in New York, and it's the 5th time in Glavine's career he's been handed the baseball in game number 1. The 4 previous times, obviously, with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, it's probably the first time that the opening day spotlight in quite a while Al Leiter hasn't had it shining on him. Leiter has carried this ball club for so long as the mainstay, and Leiter does an awful lot of things off the field to benefit this ball club and benefit the community of New York. A lot of relief funds that he helped head up for a lot of families after 9/11. Does a tremendous job within the community of New York City.
He loves to compete. Still going strong in his late 30s. That's in there to Steins. 3-1.
Important inning for the Rockies now. You're at the top of this lineup. Just watched Glavine come through one time. The Rockies were able to muster 2 hits and a walk off of Glavine. Steins with the only hit, or the first hit, I should say, for the Rockies in this ball game. Top of the lineup, peck away. Try to put 2 on the board here in the third.
Chris Steins aboard for the 2nd time. Well, a reminder later on tonight, the Best Damn Sports Show, period. You've heard about it. Hopefully you checked it out. Tom Arnold and the gang. We'll have a good show tonight. Rafael Palmeiro will discuss his 500th home run and the 499 that preceded it. John Smoltz will be on. Former teammate of Tom Glavine, Buck Showalter. And Paul O'Neill makes an appearance, the former Yankee star, tonight at 11 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Net.
Yeah, try to keep the ball down in the strike zone, and the MO for Glavine is when he does get runners on base, the double play ball becomes a huge ally of Tom Glavine.
Again, there's an example. Piazza comes with the inside target, and Glavine throws the fastball, but it's inside. He will not leave it over the plate. He does not make mistakes in. Now they go back away. And that's really what you can't do. You get out in front like Jay Payton did. This is a guy you have to think opposite field. I mean, from the get-go, you have to think opposite field. As well as he pulls the string and has, what, about 3 or 4 different change-ups, George?
Well, he changes speeds and location. He changes with what the ball's going to do. Cut in, cut away, ride to the strike zone, stand up, strike. I mean, this is just something he does such a great job of.
This is hit well, but playable to Perez.
Now you realize when you're playing center field at Coors Field, you have such a big ballpark to cover. So as soon as Perez catches this baseball, he's going to spin and get it back in. You could see right there in the corner of your screen, Steins was sprinting to get back to the bag to tag up. If there was an opportunity, they float the ball in, or you don't see a quick recovery by Perez. Glavine's been a little upset with Winters in respect when he walked Steins, he wanted that inside pitch call for a strike. The same thing here with Helton. He concentrates so hard on strike 1 that when he doesn't get that pitch within the strike zone, that's when he gets his disappointment. He has to make a pitch. I don't like that strike.
He may have gotten a gift there. That was the old American League strike.
Yeah, but I don't like that strike. I just don't like the high strike. You don't want to teach young kids to pitch that high up in the strike zone. They're going to get hurt. Boy, really took something off of it. You could tell that he disguised the pitch so well. I mean, you don't see Helton take a swing and twirl around very often. And that's exactly what he did. Just a nice, relaxed motion. See how Helton's so far out on that front foot. You don't see that often from Todd Helton. He was right on the money in his previous at-bat when he lined out to Wigington. It's got to be like sitting in a rocket chair for Piazza, though. You're not going to be blocking a lot of balls. You're not going to be reaching for balls. He's going to be in the strike zone.
Yeah, so comfortable.
For the majority of the night.
From a catcher's standpoint, when you set up a target, you know the ball's going to be within 3 inches of where you set up. Every time.
They're trying to stay away from Helton. They haven't come inside one time. That may change with this next pitch. On a 2-2 count from Glavine.
You know what I think? We always talk about when a pitcher's struggling or working deliberately, it gets the fielders on their heels. They start kicking dirt, moving around. I think it takes the catcher out of a rhythm too. But when you have a guy with the precision control of Glavine, the catcher stays in it.
Well, you stay in it, yeah, because you want a W. I mean, that's the big thing as a catcher. You're looking at a guy you might see walk into the Hall of Fame someday, and you can say, hey, you know what? I caught that guy. And that's where you get the pride factor, and you work behind the plate as a catcher. And the particular thing, you're talking about the same wavelength. You get on that same wavelength, you call a pitch, he doesn't shake off. You're thinking right along with him. You're right inside his mind in how he wants to work each and individual hitter.
Here's the 2-2 to help. And Todd hits it straight away. Perez will gather it in again. And Stein's back to first, 2 gone. That'll bring Preston Wilson to the plate. We talked about this a lot lately. Preston has been the only bat to hit the ball over the wall for the Rockies in the month of May. And we're at May 13th now.
His last 9 ball games, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, and a 9-game hitting streak coming into tonight. And 4 of those home runs hit on this most recent road trip, Drew. And the Rockies didn't hit any other than Preston Wilson.
The Rockies have now gone 368 at-bats without a home run from anyone other than Preston Wilson. Or look at it this way, they've had 5 home runs in 368 at-bats. That's not very good for a club that figured to hit a ton of home runs. Now Timo Perez backing up. We'll have room right in front of the 4:15 mark. That time's a record, by the way, George.
Along with about 16,950 other center fielders.
Hey, let's see the number. No. Oh, yeah. Man, I talked to that girl for 20 minutes. Nothing.
You broke the horizon.
Horizon?
You looked.
I looked.
I saw you look, man. Rise, they're up here, man.
No, how could you not look? See what she was wearing? I mean, you guys look. You gonna call her?
Yeah, real Rocky Mountain beer and guys to drink it with.
Oh, come on, let's get this guy.
It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get more this summer with Pennzoil's protection package and get $15 back on your next service at Rocky Mountain Quick Lube.
Fox 31 News, Colorado's most watched 9 o'clock newscast. The resources to cover big stories, breaking stories, the technology to bring you an accurate forecast, and a troubleshooter fighting for you. The news you need at a time that's right. Fox 31 News, Colorado's most watched 9 o'clock newscast. He's known Joe Millionaire. But tonight, he'll get you laughing with Fox at Night. Homer Simpson. Tonight at 10 on Fox 31.
Tonight on the best damn sports show, period.
Is Leanne the real secret of the Matrix? Plus, closer John Smoltz with the real special effects. And Yankee legend, Mr. Paul O'Neill.
Tonight at 11.